Howdy, how y'all doing today? How about a new lift? Woo! I'm excited getting this thing in. Bought a 4-post. I've got the 2-post, but I wanted a 4-post so I could get some of these lower cars on without having to jack them up and finagle, and because they got spoilers and side pipes, and just it's a pain in the hoose cow trying to get them on that 2-post lift. So I decided to buy a 4-post. Called around, finally got a really good deal. Got 2 of them. At one, they were about the same price, and one was a little bit better because it was a 10,000 pound. This one was an 8 or 9,000 pound. But since the heaviest vehicle is my truck and it weighs about 6,500 pounds, you know, empty, not with passengers and everything. But so I'm thinking, okay, well, 8,000 is going to be enough. So I buy the 8,000 because even though they're around the same price, yeah, I wanted the heavier one because you know it's heavier, it's better, bigger, right? Bigger, better, faster, stronger. But shipping. The guys with the one that I bought, free shipping. The other guys, $500 or $600 to ship it. So I went with the free shipping, slightly lighter, you know, capacity, but should still do the job. Both of them went over 7 feet, so I can drive my truck underneath it, which was my biggest thing. I wanted to be able to get my truck in the shop, and any other lift, like even this one I have now, I can't get my truck underneath it. So this way, I can put my truck under it. So it's for storage and for use. It's going to be easier to work on the sports cars because I don't have to crawl around. I can just pull them up, and I can get my truck on it or under it, either way. So I was excited about that. So we're ready to unload it. It's on the back of my trailer right now. I should have videoed getting that on the trailer because that was a fiasco. It was pretty ingenious the way they packed it, but we had to disassemble everything in order to get it on the trailer to get it home. But with all that being said, I wanted to show, this was like the first thing I was going to show, me reading these directions. Because, you know, I don't want, a lot of the ladies out there think us guys don't read directions. Some don't, maybe. But if we do, we just do it in private. That way nobody knows that we actually read them. But I normally do read them, because if I don't know, if I'm not familiar with it, yes, it's like reading a shop manual. You got to do it on some cars just to get your specs and your firing orders and all that good stuff. Some of these guys are amazing. They can remember all this stuff. I forgot more than I remember. But so I got the directions, right? And I was gonna sit here and thumb through it, make me look like I was doing something, right? Just for the video's sake. But I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, but if it says it, can you see it? It says 2-post lift. 2-post lift. This one's a 4-post lift. Yeah, so I don't have directions. I'm gonna wing it. I could call the company and get directions, but it's a nice weekend. And it's on my trailer. It's here. And it's big. And I don't have room in the shop. So, we're gonna wing it. Keep our fingers crossed. Because there's like cables and pulleys and nuts and bolts and legs and levers and yeah. I don't know. But what choice do I have? So we're going to lay it out. Take a look at it, see if we can figure it out. And hope for the best, right? So come on with me and see what I can screw up.
Letting you go for a while.
Just as you saw, I struggled and struggled and struggled and struggled trying to get that post to go with the crossbeam. And when things wouldn't go together, even with a hammer, I decided to measure. And I've discovered that when you've got an 1/8 of an inch smaller hole than you're trying to put the piece, it's really not going to work. Plain and simple, not going to work. So I measured, and sure enough, there's about a little, actually, the little piece that they put in there was, you know, not straight. And I tried banging it straight, not happening. I'm thinking the workmanship on this particular lift may not be the best. But, you know, get what you pay for. And it was inexpensive, comparatively speaking, to some of them. Several $1,000s less than the higher end ones. And it's made in China, I'm not going to lie. It says made in China right on the box. So I took a grinder. You saw a little bit of that. I tried putting a bevel, see if that would help. Didn't work. Because basically I was just trying to put too big of a piece inside the hole. So I ground plastic down and was able to get it down to where it was even on both sides, because it was actually cattywampus. And it was fatter on one end because it just wasn't in flat and straight. And you could see that if you looked real close at it. So I ground it. Don't be afraid to modify stuff, folks, because sometimes it just, you know, you think the manufacturer would, you know, make it so it would work, but that's not always the case. Now the other side slid right in. It was just that one side that was giving me a hard time. So evidently that guy that put that in together was drunk that day. And so I wasn't, that piece just went, it just happened to be the first one I was working on. And I'd rather that happen, because if you can get the hard stuff done first, then you got the easy stuff to look forward to. So there we go. I did finally get that one in, and then when I went to the other side, it just slid right in. I'm like, what the heck? So, but at least it's in. I did have to do a little bit of grind. Hate to do that, because I'm thinking the way this lift's supposed to be movable, it doesn't actually bolt down like a lot of them. It's supposed to be able to move it around. And so I'm thinking they want a tight tolerance on that so that it's not going when you're moving it and put a car on it, you know. But that pretty much was it. So I went ahead and I ground roughly 30 thousandths, I think it was, because I took my vernier and I measured it, and the one side was 30 thousandths lower than the other side. So the side that was giving me trouble was actually 60. I think it was, I forget the measurement now, but it was about, it was on my vernier, it was something something and 60 thousandths, and the other one was 30 thousandths. So that's a 30 thousandths difference. So I knew I had a problem. Took the grinder, ground it so that both sides were even, slid right in. So I guess the theme for the day is don't be afraid to modify stuff. It's just because it's new don't mean it's going to work the way it's supposed to. You might have to do a little fixing on it. But anyway, let's get back to work. I just figured I'd throw that in there, and I know it's going to be in the middle of all this music and all this assembly and all this craziness going fast forward and all that, because I'm not going to make y'all sit through real time on this. It's been probably a couple hours already just hauling stuff and trying to figure things out, because I don't have directions, remember? And I was getting a little irritated, to be honest with you. I'm like, wish they'd give me directions. I don't know which end is up. I don't know which end is down. You got to try to figure things out. It's like a three-dimensional puzzle. But we'll get her done. We'll get her done. And, you know, if I don't, I'll be waiting for y'all to, like, put comments and say, well, look, you could have done this or that. And it's the weekend, so I can't even call the manufacturer and ask them and get maybe some directions faxed to me or emailed to me or whatever. And I want this done by the end of the weekend. So, heck with that. We're going to keep winging it. We got this one in. Hopefully the other one won't be so bad. And as you probably saw, I even tried, you know, putting the weight of the post upside down, going down on it, and that didn't work either. Basically, you just can't put a 6 1/4 inch block into a 6-inch hole. It just doesn't work. Even with a big hammer. Of course, I didn't use a big hammer. I could have probably got a bigger hammer. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. But anyway, it's working. So let me finish this one up. I'll get the other side done. I'm going to work out today. And we'll see how that goes. Probably, yeah, we'll get you back in the roll here. Another day. It was a long one yesterday. Spent a good part of the morning helping somebody get some parts for their car, and then second half, y'all got to see putting this lift together. Got the heavy stuff done, which that's the exhausting part. Now it's kind of the technical stuff. It's a new morning, so I'm fresh and ready to go. Biggest problem I'm going to run into is, and I'll show you in a second, I've got to get to the pulleys that are underneath, the piston and pulleys, and I got to somehow figure a way to get the the crossbar with the ramps up so I get underneath it. If I put them up first, then I wouldn't have been able to get the ramps up there because I don't have a forklift. I don't really have any way to lift them and move them at the same time because we're using basically people power, some hydraulic jacks, and a little hydraulic table. You know, basic shop tools. So my next thing right now is just going to be figuring out how to get it up to the first set of locks so that I can get underneath it and start hooking everything up and bolting everything down. So you'll get to watch that, but I'll show you what I'm talking about real quick. See, what I'm talking about is this bar right here. And see, you got the weight of the ramps. These ramps are probably 300 to 500 pounds a piece. This crossbar, I think, is probably close to 200. And then the other one over there, we're going to lift one side at a time. And then these posts are maybe 100, 125 a piece. So I think overall the whole thing together, they told me, weighs 2,500 pounds. So I may be off on those weights a little bit. They're probably heavier than I'm saying. Needless to say, so far it's been me and my tiny 100-pound wife, which, don't get me wrong, that woman's very capable. So this is where I'm at now. I'm going to let y'all watch. I'm going to try to brainstorm a little bit off camera. And then once I come up with an idea on how to get, I'm going to try maybe prying that up with a bar of some sort and a lever. And then maybe get a hydraulic jack under it. And then my table, my jack table. And I think, if all goes well, that should work. So we'll test it a little bit and then we'll turn the camera on. If I have numerous failures, maybe I'll show you each failure until I finally figure something out. But the idea of this whole video is to give you all some form of, oh, I guess you probably should look at me, right, when I'm doing all this. There we go. Oh, lighting's bad. Yeah, that's better. It's to give you all some form of, you can do this at home. You know, if I had a forklift and 3 guys, which I've watched a couple other videos to try to figure this out because I don't have directions. I did find some on the internet this morning, so I am printing those up in case I get stuck on the pulley configuration, you know. But this is basically how to do this with shop tools, basic shop tools. And you know, if you got a few friends to help you, awesome. I've got a friend I could probably call, like in the last video you saw, he's willing to come, but he lives like some 25 miles away, and I just don't want to do that to him, even though he'd probably be willing. We're going to do this alone, because if I can do this with just me and my tiny wife, and or maybe I get my daughter out here, she's even tinier, then you know you can do it. And that's basically what we're up against today. So hang in there. Let's see if we can get this thing the rest of the way.
Falling headlong into the inside round.
just to confuse things, they gave me 8 bolts, which is how many you need, but they're 2 different lengths. They gave me 4 of the long and 4 of the short. You need all 8 to make it happen, and I have tried to reason why and don't have a reason why. I thought it might be pulleys. I thought it might be, maybe you're going to hit the pulleys with the longer ones. And then all I can think of is maybe the longer one is so if you got a gap, you can pull it together. I don't have a gap, so it's not a big deal. But I figure worst come to worst, I'll cut the long ones if they get in the way of something. But I need all 8 to bolt, and I'm going to show you exactly where they go. Well, at least where I think they go, maybe. But this is where they're going. If not, I'll figure it out. But here we go. They go right here. At least I think they do. They are these here. And there's some bolts on the back side of this ramp that line up. And so that's where I'm going to put them. Thought this was going to be the hardest part, but it's kind of self-explanatory because they kind of they've already got, if you look over here, the piston, that big square thing over there, that the piston is already hooked up and all these cables are hooked up, and so really all I've got to do is kind of sort them out, like this one goes on the top pulley, otherwise it's going to bind, and cross all the other ones. So you just kind of play the odds. No, actually I lied. This one is below it, so this is going to go on the lower pulley. Yep, okay. And then, yep, that's the lower pulley. And this one goes back to the other side. And then this one here goes to the upper pulley, which I have it on there already. And it's going to go across to, this camera freaks me out because this is actually that way, if that makes any sense, when I'm looking in the viewer. So I don't know if, I never really noticed before, if everything is backwards on the video, but if I'm sitting like with my, if I'm facing the camera, this is my right hand. So, and then this is my left hand. And in the video monitor, if you will, it's backwards. Like, because this looks left on the video. So it really messes with my head sometimes. But anyway, this runs to the other side, which is that way. And goes over there, and then I'll show you how everything routes this way. But these are the pulleys here. There's 4 on this particular one. There's only 2 down the other end, and then there's 2. There's actually none on the other side over here. There's none on the ramp part, but it does go to a pulley in the actual column, which is back here. Oh, you can't see it. Yeah, right here. The columns have a pulley that goes up. And then this piece here, it's big threaded doodah, goes through a cap on the columns, and that's kind of what does it. And when that piston over there extends, it pulls on these cables, and that's what lifts it and or lowers it. It's kind of I don't know. It's somebody else definitely thought that up because wait a minute. I see a little loopy thingy in the middle of the doodah here, and I'm wondering if I'm not supposed to. Well, it won't work over there. I don't know if you can see these. See this? I don't know if you can see this in the camera. If not, I'll move it. There we go. But right here, there's a little. See it? And I think maybe this cable, but only one cable is going to go through it. And then if I put it in there, it's going to be kind of, I think it's going to bind, and it doesn't. I don't know. I'm not thinking that's the way it's supposed to be, but I think I'm going to have to run it through. So why they didn't run it through themselves, I have no idea. But it's got to go. Here's the funky part about it. Maybe that's why they don't use it. Because if I put it up in here, it's going to kind of, looks like it's going to bind a little going in there. As opposed to just letting it kind of run free, you know. But I think, I'm guessing that's how it's got to be. So I'm going to go ahead and lace these outside ones, because they are really, really, really long. But they are on this side too, and it doesn't have those loopy thingies. So I'm pretty sure you don't need them. It might be for something else, because they would have them on both sides if they really wanted you to run it through there. And they didn't run it through from the factory. And I would think it's going to bind. So I'm not going to use them, I guess. I'm just going to leave it the way the factory sent it to me. And if it gets sloppy, like you see the cables hanging or something, then I'll... Yeah, because it's not going to... It ain't going to be right. This middle one, I could use the middle one without an issue. But, yeah, no. Since I don't have good directions, I did get some online, but they're about almost as helpful as not having any. So, if you're going to rely on instructions, folks, don't buy this lift. You're going to have to do a lot of thinking, even if you have the directions. But, you know, they did help. They kind of gave me an idea of what goes where, sort of, maybe. Well, okay, a little. And it does have a diagram of how these cables go. But in all, to the company, and I've not actually seen any directions that are worth the paper they're written on anyway for almost anything, and that's half the reason most guys don't read them. But as far as the construction of this lift, it's really nice. It's heavy duty. It's well. I like once it's together. I like the way they did it. It looks well put together. So aside from the instructions, which suck on almost everything, you know, so far so good. We'll see how good it works, but so far I'm happy with it. It's heavy. It's, you know, eat your Wheaties if you're gonna start huffing this stuff around, especially the end with the piston on it. Whoo-wee. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. I'll give you another little walkthrough on the way the cables went after I'm done. But for you to sit here and watch me try to lace them through here, I think is going to be insanely boring. But you know, they came pre-set up-ish, so really you'd have to really work at it to mess it up. If that makes any sense. It's pretty almost. I'm not going to say idiot-proof, because I'll probably make a mistake and then I'm the idiot, right? So it's not idiot-proof. But it is fairly self-explanatory, because the cables are longer that go to the other side, obviously, and the cables are shorter that go to this one, you know, these columns right here, close. The hydraulic cylinder has to be near the controller, obviously, because, you know, you only have so much hydraulic line. So it's all pretty self-explanatory. So I came up to this point without directions. Didn't have anything, no diagrams, no nothing. And I did get on the internet and search and found one assembly on YouTube that was so fast forwarded that you literally had to be Flash Gordon to even see what was going on. I slowed it down to 25% and it was still too fast to see what was going on. And the music sucked. And yeah, so it was, and it had 3 guys in a forklift, so it was worthless. If you're trying to do this on your own like I am, yeah, that video was worthless. And the directions are good, you know, well, sort of. They give you a diagram, so you can see kind of where stuff goes. That's helpful. I would not have known to put the caps on there if I hadn't had the directions, so it did help me. I would have figured it out probably, but you know, so there's some stuff that, you know, we're getting there. We're getting there. But hopefully my video is going to be, I'll stop talking now because I'm just rattling on. But hopefully this video will help you all to figure this out without total confusion. And like I said, as soon as I'm done running all these cables, I will kind of walk you through it so that you'll get a really good idea of what's going on under here. I jacked it all up. I have one of those tables, one of those telescoping tables, if you will. It is invaluable in this particular setup. You could use a cherry picker-ish with, you know, a strap. That would work. You know, you could use, if you have a chain fall hanging from the ceiling, you could have used that. There's a million different ways we could have done this. That table really made it easy for me. Getting it on the table was the humdinger. If you had a strap and a chain fall, I guess that would have probably been the best way. And of course, if you have a forklift, then, you know, life is easy. But, you know, and I do have a chain fall, but I don't really have a place in my ceiling to hook it. I do have a cherry picker, but you'd have to get the cherry picker up underneath here first, like I did with the jack just to get my table on. It's kind of the same thing. But that would have worked. So you got options. And but I used the table. If you have one of those, then, you know, it made this pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but it made it doable. So you got options. Any way to lift these beams to get them to go up and down in there. And, you know, so anyway, I'll stop talking now. Let's get busy. I'm going to get these cables in, and then I'll give you a look-see on how I did it. Well, I found out why we had some longer bolts. It's supposed to have this. Because what this does, I'm just going to slide it in there for the moment to give you a look-see at what it does. Is it allows the ramp to hook in, like so. Okay, which we'll do that in a minute once I get it bolted in. But so that's why there's some longer ones. Yeah, there's always a reason, right? I didn't know. I thought maybe there was just some guy that didn't know what he was doing over there in China when they put this together. And yes, it was made in China. Said it right, big letters on the box. But you know, the quality's, it's not bad. You know, I can't tell you that it's cheaply made, because it's not. And it was inexpensive compared to other lifts. So, whoops. I don't know what to tell you there. I was talking to somebody, I guess some of the guys helped me unload this at the warehouse that I picked it up at, and they said, stuff from China is better now. Because a lot of Americans, and it's sad but true, a lot of Americans don't take pride in their work. They're so very dissatisfied that they just throw things together, and they don't seem to care. You know, so the Chinese, I guess, they take pride in what they do. So I'm not going to say one way or the other because I don't know. Now my wife, which you've caught a glimpse of her in this video, she's Filipino, and that girl will work you under the table. She is an extremely hard worker. She takes pride in what she does. She takes meticulous care of everything she takes care of, including me. As you can tell by my fat belly, she takes good care of me too. And so there you go. And if the Chinese people have any kind of work ethic that my wife does, now granted they're Oriental and she's Asian, there's a little bit of a difference there. But, you know, if their work ethic is that good, then God bless them. I don't mind. And I buy from Harbor Freight all the time, so and all of that's Chinese stuff. So I don't know. You use your own judgment. Me? Me, I don't know. As long as it works. You know, there's some stuff that comes out of there. I mean, if you're paying $1.98 for it, yeah, it's probably cheaply made. But if you, oh, and also just to show you, other than the ramp, it also has a stop you can throw in there so that you can keep your car from rolling off of the lift when it's on too. So you can kind of keep this handy, and so there's that too. That's just a little afterthought somebody had, I think, and it's great because you pull the ramp off, you put this on there, and theoretically your car won't roll off. And on the other end, what I didn't show you is there's something similar to this for the other end as a stop, and that goes just underneath these bolts, and it's permanent. That way you can't roll off the other end. So there you go. There's a couple of little snippets of information that the directions did help me to find out, because I'm looking at these plates going, what the heck is that for? And then I looked at the picture and hello, that's what it was. So there we go. I'm going to fetch a wrench so I can tighten these up a little more, get the other one on there, and I'll give you a quick look-see. We'll take a walk over there real quick and I'll show you the other one. As you can see, I already put this one in. I haven't tightened it yet. But yeah, it's almost the same exact thing, only if you'll notice it doesn't have the notches for the, the little plate that's there. I kind of wish they put the plate here too, because then these would be removable if you wanted to drive off the other side. Because I do have another lift right behind it. That's the only way I could get them in here. So to get this car out, technically I'm just going to jack this up in the air and drive under it. But if I wanted to drive over it, and I didn't have these, I could put the ramps on this side and just drive over the other side. But I like the idea of these, because I parked my car on it last night, believe it or not, with it all unbolted and loose. And I just drove it up here, and I pulled it until my tires were right on the edge here so I could get the other car in behind it. This thing will move when I'm done. It's got casters for the bottom here, so we can roll it around, and which is a good thing, because where it's sitting right now, my wife's car barely fit in here. But I've got room to slide it over. Well, you wouldn't know it to look at my shop, because this is just... I need to sell some stuff, folks. Somebody contact me and buy some stuff. I got truck accessories. I got... pardon me. I got sneezes. But I got car parts galore. So do me a favor and contact me with that essigspeed@yahoo.com. Yeah, that's it. Essig, that's E-S-S-I-G, essigspeed@yahoo.com. And buy some stuff. I got engines and I got cylinder heads. Yeah, some right there, it's all Mopar. 99% of it's Mopar. Got a little bit of Chevy stuff, but I got a couple of Chevy engines and things. But truck accessories, just stuff. So help me out, folks. Somebody contact me and buy some stuff. Drive shafts. Need a drive shaft? I got lots of drive shafts. Anyway, let's get back to this. Well, I promised you that I'd let you see what it looks like with the ramp in it. There you go. That's the ramp. It's hooked in there. But see how long that bugger is? And if you left this on here, you'd walk by that, and you would hit your head on that, and you would say words that you don't want to say. So, it's removable, and I like that fact, so I say so a lot. You gotta quit doing that. Basically, it's removable. Take the ramps off. We'll put them over here somewhere, or whatever. I'll find a home for them, and we'll put this wheel chalky thing in there, and it will be good to go. I almost think that I was sponsored by Harbor Freight. I keep harping on the stuff I buy from them, but I can't beat the prices. They just opened up one near my house, so it works out really well. But I bought this particular unit because it runs off 110, and that one over there doesn't move. It's bolted to the floor, and it's 220. But this one I want to be able to move around the shop because it's so big. If I want to get out of the way, I can jack it all the way up and push it over and get it out of the way if I want. I want to paint a car or whatever. Because it's huge, so I wanted that movability, shall we say. So I got a 110 unit, but the reason I was saying I was harping on Harbor Freight is I bought this table. It wasn't cheap, $300 and something, almost, $359, $69, something like that. But man, I have been using the snot out of it. I used to have to pull out a cherry picker, wrap it with a chain, and this job here I would not have been able to do without it. Well, I could have, but it would have been more difficult. And then like this, I'd have to sit here and hold this and try to get somebody else to put some bolts in there for me, or or I'd have to try to hold it and put the bolt in myself. And I don't know if you've ever done that kind of stuff, but yeah, it has its moments. But this, I just set it up on the table, jack it up until my bolts line up. Life is good. So, there you go. I mean, it takes up a lot of space. That's the main reason I never bought it before. I just recently bought it because I was like, well, you know, I got this. I was thinking about this project when I bought it, but I also bought a new freezer for the house, and it was, you know, I got it off the truck with this table, and it's just a really valuable tool. So I'm just throwing it out there for y'all if you want to spend some money on something that'll really help you around the shop. This thing's sweet for loading anything heavy in the truck. I put a transmission in the truck last week with it. I just stuck the transmission on the bed of it and jacked it up, stuck it in my truck. And I do have to kind of park my truck in a little hole because the table don't quite go up high enough. But I could just put a little piece of wood on there or something to make it higher. But, you know, I'm too lazy for that. But there we go, look, that's on there. Get another one caught and then we'll pull the table out of the way. Oh man, can't really see that one. So I need to go up or down. See it. I'll have to come on over here. Oh, get in your way so I can see. Oh, it's got to come up. What's up with that? Yep. Oh, there you go. We'll just kind of make her go uphill. That'll work. These are plenty long. They were generous in that area. Go. Well, be dipped in horse puppy. Grabbed the wrong size. It's probably metric. That's okay. We have the semi-metric SAEs. There we go. Well, I'll loosen that up a little. There we go. So we can get this one in here. Can you even see? Well, skinny of it is, I'm putting a bolt on. Not exactly rocket science. So, let me finish this up. I got another one to go, and then I'm just going to tighten them up. But I'm very happy with my table, and I'm happy with this new lift. So, hang with me. We'll get this lift finished up, and maybe I'll even put a car on it and try it out. Give me this hose. It's got a straight end and a curved end, but I think that would be kind of bulky looking, so we're going to put this end on there and just tighten her up on there like so. And they gave me a fitting to go on the other end so it will join up with this piece, which you can't see right now, but I'll show you in a minute. So let's go ahead and finish tightening this up. Okay, I was a little off. It's 3/4 inch. So we'll just go ahead. You don't want to over tighten this, but you want to make sure it don't leak. Of course, if it starts to leak, you can just, tighten it up. So, there we go. All right. I know what it's for now. Aha! There you go. Goes through here. I was wondering what those holes were for, and now I figured it out. That's why we had this nut on here. It's a bulkhead nut. So, hey, took me a minute, but I figured it out. So let's just go ahead and tighten her up. Now I know why that fitting was the way it was. And I don't know. I think we're okay with that. I think it should have been like this other kind of fitting all the way around. This works just fine. And then we'll get in here and hold the nut from the back side in case it decides it wants to turn. Well, I'll be dipped. Doesn't want to cooperate. Got this metric adjustable. Make sure you don't buy the SAE brand. You want the metric because it fits more half sizes. So we're just gonna kind of tighten her up. Uh-oh, started to turn. There we go. Alright. Now that was smarter than me on that one. Like I said, I'm not unhappy with the quality of this lift at all. That was a great idea. I was wondering what those holes were for. I don't really know why. There's another one. Maybe we'll find out later. But let's go ahead and get some hydraulic oil. These are the caps. For whatever reason, they only gave me 4 bolts, so I'm assuming they go in this rear hole. There's 2 more on the sides, but they didn't give me enough bolts. I suppose we could put them in later. But since we're going to be pulling off of here, and this is so tight in here, I don't really see a problem with it. So we're just going to go ahead and put this in here. That in started in there, and then we're going to get this, and we're probably a little longer than we need to be. So we're just going to put this in here. We won't know till I lower this thing all the way to the floor what the adjustment's going to be on this. All the way up, all the way down. Okay, but now it's time to put the lock in. And you know what? I think, remember those little hoopy things I was telling you about? That's what this does. This goes through those. So we're gonna. Nope. Kind of hard to see it. And put it in. There we go, there's one. I'm going to run this in, and I'm going to run underneath the lift. And put this rod all the way through. As far as it goes, there's going to be another piece, which is here. And that's going to go on the other side, and it's going to go in Here's the other piece. It's going to go in through here. And again, it's going to go through. Son of a gun, I think I got it. Let me see. I did. Am I not good or am I not good? Okay, now this, I think we want to do like this, right? Well, that's kind of right in the face, ain't it? Do I want to put it down like this? No, because then you'll be, well, like this. Because that way, it's kind of, there we go. That's how we shut the lock on and off. So, put these on for good keeping. Like so. And we may want to let this come in a little bit more. There we go. It has all sorts of adjustments here. So we're just trying to get it. And this is how you shut the locks off. We'll have to relieve the locks, obviously, because the cables are, as you can see, they're still a little bit not where they're supposed to be. We'll have to get those slowly situated, make sure they're all in the pulleys. When we lift, we're gonna have to get the lift to come up and then down. This was the hardest thing to figure out, is how to get these casters to work. And the main reason it was difficult is because they gave me these pins, and I assumed these pins were supposed to go in here, these holes to pin that, and then, you know, what have you. They don't fit. They're too big. They fit through this piece, but they don't fit through this. So I'm going to have to open those holes up to make it work right. So that didn't work so good. So what I did is I basically just took, you know, an extension, and I stuck it in the hole because these didn't work. But that is basically how it goes. You pin them on right here, and when you let the lift down, these pieces here hit these posts right here, and it allows the lift to lift so you can roll it. So I've moved it over a little bit to give my wife some room to get her cars in, and as promised, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a view underneath at the pulley configuration too. This is the pulley configuration. If you look here, this one goes this way, goes up that way, and then up to the top. And then this one goes this way and goes same way underneath that pulley and then to the top. So there's basically only two cables that run underneath this one, and there's a hydraulic line. So you follow these two lines, and then this is the hydraulic piston here, and the 4 go to it, and you can see all 4 lines are going this way, and there's 4 pulleys that way, and the bottom ones, okay, the bottom one goes over there just like the other one. This bottom one goes over here, just like the other one on the other side. And then these two at the top, they go to the hydraulic piston. Okay? Now, if you'll notice, they stay nice and neat. They don't cross each other, they don't climb on one another, they don't touch each other in any way. So you'll know you got it right when you have all of them nice and neat like that. Now, when I first got this going, I just had to fix it. These were actually up above the pulleys, and it was still working, but didn't want to come down real easy. And so when I put it up, I was like, oh my. So, but there you go. That's basically the pulley configuration. You can see they go right into these pulleys, and then they go up, and then there's your adjustment at the top, and those are your locks. These are how your locks work. Okay? that's it. That's it in a nutshell. 4 going that way, 2 coming this way. And here's your controller, your hydraulic line. That's it. Well, it's pretty darn late. As you can probably tell, it's dark outside. And I gotta work in the morning. That's like late dark after like past my bedtime. So I need to get cleaned up and get myself into bed at some point here and get these cars put away. But we finished it. I'm pretty happy with that. Hope y'all learned something. It would have been a lot easier if I had directions earlier. And there are 0 directions about how the wheels work to make it move, to be able to roll it around. So I figured that one out on my own, and I'm not sure I figured it out right, but it is what it is. So there you go, folks. I hope you learned something. Feel free to comment, ask questions, whatever. I think I'm a pro now. Oh, maybe not, but I got it to work. That's what matters, right? Got it to work. Thanks for watching. As usual, please, if you enjoyed this, if you learned something that was entertaining at the very least, please subscribe. Helps me out. And if you don't like it, don't watch them.